in the DeFi and crypto and blockchain, not as much as in XR. But there's just a lot to talk about because I really believe all of it comes together, and we're going to talk about how a lot of that is. And like Julie mentioned, we'll also talk, I'll mention at the end a little bit about ethics and where I hope everything is going. There are QR codes. If you were at Tinks and other presentations in here, the QR codes on each page, if you just take a snapshot of it, they will work on your mobile, and you'll see them corresponding to each of the links. So this is my LinkedIn. I'm also the same name, Alison Morano, on Facebook, Insta, and YouTube. And so I can be pretty much found under my name just on all the social spaces or anywhere else. I try to keep that consistent, which is part of marketing. If we can go to the next slide. So I have been doing this roughly since 2019. I suppose I got my first Quest. I think I started with the Go. I do remember experimenting with the cardboard boxes that you could cut out and different things like that, but I really started coming into the headset with the Go around 2019. 2020, it was really kind of a godsend to have this. We all know when we were inside 2020 and 21. And I really started getting into it for fitness, and that's what I was looking for. I was always bored on my stationary bike or anything else, and once the headset came out, the time just flew, and I started using different applications just to pass the time. That's what I would do. And then Supernatural came along, and FitXR, and all these get up off your bike and onto your feet. When the two controllers came out when we started, I guess, with the Quest 1, we started getting up on our feet, and the exercise became bigger. So I just kept going. But at the same time, I was using other apps now that were coming out. Spatial was one of the first, Horizon, of course. Then I found Multiverse, which is really where I do most of my creating, although I do that because it's the easiest for me to use, and I know that everybody has different apps that are easier for them. I just stuck with what was helping me kind of bring my vision together in the way that was most comfortable for me. And part of what I do in the real world, aside from political work, which is mainly how my day job, although I'm transitioning kind of out of that kind of stuff, but a lot of it has to do with organizing and getting people together. And throughout the years, I've been very, very into Florida, and in both places when I started my own consulting businesses, mostly in tech and web stuff back then, and internet and computer things like that with different clients. I was always a member of the Chamber of Commerce in my local area, and I was always in leadership. And when I came in and noticed that Multiverse, which I'll talk about in a minute, really was geared towards businesses getting off the ground and making a space for themselves and finding an intro way to bring their consulting services or their products or whatever it is they were doing into an app. Again, I was in Multiverse. I wanted to automatically organize everybody because that's what I do. And the criteria that I use to organize business is a Chamber of Commerce. So I decided I would start one in here. And it became the Metaverse Chamber of Commerce. And we are mostly in Multiverse. We have I'll show you something. We have a pretty good chamber coming along in Horizon, which I can't wait to open up. We put a lot of detail into it. I've got some space in Spatial. I've created one or two places in Engage, but again, it's a slow process as the apps kind of move forward and evolve. We are, I'm finding these spaces and always looking for help, and we do have a leadership team, and we've got lots of members, and I'm just always looking to move it forward. And the MetaverseChamber.io is up and working. You can join there, and there's news and different information about what the chamber's up to. And if you use that up on the top is the deep link. So the QR code goes to the deep link, and that's for people outside who maybe are new to Meta or any kind of headset that's, it's all on the Quest. They can use that and they can boot it up, and then when they open up their headset, it'll take them directly to a Multiverse Chamber storefront. So you can jump into that. And when Horizon opens up, we'll use the Horizon deep link as well. And as other apps start to offer these deep links, which are web-based outside of what I call the firewall of the Quest headset, they let you come in and go directly to a location in an app, whichever deep link you have. Some apps offer it, some apps are starting to. There's also an interoperability between the apps that is coming. And we did, I believe Sophie or Julie mentioned it, and with Karen, we did a inter-portal kind of portal crawl a couple of weeks ago with a really good group, and we were examining which apps would let you jump in and out of them and go to other spaces from one app to the next. And Engage does let you. We do have a portal, I think, that we may be able to bring in that'll bring you directly from here directly into a multiverse chamber location. And it's really just about showing the usability. When we were here, Robin Mulder, who's a big part of this group and the directors, she brought us into her Grocket game directly from, you could go directly from Engage, you could also go directly from Multiverse. And those are two apps, or those are three apps right now that I know you can jump out of into other apps using portals. And they show you how to create portals when you're using the user interfaces in the apps. Other apps let you jump in, but they don't let you jump out yet. Like Horizon, you can go to any location in Horizon, but once you're in Horizon, you can't go out of Horizon into something else. Spatial does or doesn't. There's a mixed thing. Sometimes I can get out, sometimes I can't find how you do it, but other apps will hopefully show, start using this interoperability and let you get in and out of their apps. If we could go to the next slide. So like I said, Multiverse is where I make my home for the most part. And it is something that we found in 2021. A lot of the users went in. And one of the things about it was, one of the things that drew me to Multiverse was back then was when they started talking about owning virtual real estate in the XR, in the coming Web3 and all of the things that are coming along, and blockchain and NFTs. And I want to say right from the beginning, Multiverse does not use blockchain or NFT. Right now they feel it's limiting and they'd rather be in the web-based interface, and it's only in the headset. But what you could do is when you're looking at Decentraland and the other places you could buy real estate is $3 million, $4 million. That was what was getting reported in the media. And to open a storefront was very expensive and you couldn't even do it yet. People are buying land in advance of the technology catching up to them being able to put their own space in. Roblox lets you put them in, and a lot of the larger companies are in there. Again, prohibitive to small businesses like mine. And it was very cool because walk the it could take several hours to do. But what you can do is you find a location that you like, maybe a street name that you like, which was how I guided myself. I bought all the streets named Wonderland, which I'll go into. I bought an apartment, and the apartments were anywhere from $5 to $20. And what happens is that as you buy an apartment, the building grows, so there's always more. They've had to put caps on them. They've now found ways to kind of cost more to make a building taller, because people now have ownership of the land and they have ownership of the spaces. I will also prerequisite by saying that like Spatial and a couple of places that let you purchase, the money goes one way right now. So think of it as an investment where you can buy coins, and the coins can help you buy apartments, they can help you buy storefronts, they can help you buy land, but you can't get that back out from the app yet. And that is something that we're hoping Meta comes along and lets us do these peer-to-peer transactions in real currency versus only in coins, which only go one way. So that is coming, and that's why we think of it really as an investment in any of these apps that let you buy coins in order to do digital commerce. There are some back ends. Meta is not thrilled about that, so I'm not really going to go into how it all works, because sometimes I don't want to give up what they're doing. So again, this is the Metaverse Chamber of Commerce storefront. Let you bring in videos, and it lets you jump from place to place using doors as portals. It's all web-based, so you do it on Web 2, and it shows up in Web 3. If we could go to the next slide. Here is a sneak peek of the Horizon World's Chamber of Commerce, which is coming. I've been working on really getting around it. It's got some elevators, it's got member doors. Anybody who's a member, but everywhere that they tell me they have a location, you automatically will go into all of our spots. I have a big chamber expo that runs all the time in Multiverse that has all the member doors on it. And in Horizon, we've put floors dedicated to members that have Horizon spaces. And if you just send it to me if you're a member, and we will get you a door, and it will all debut when we start opening up. So this is the chamber location. It's really big. The coolest thing was I said I wanted it to be different. I didn't want people to feel they were in just a regular business space that looks like a chamber as though we're in the real world, IRL. I want to have new concepts. So if you go all the way up and you look up through from the floor of the chamber, it's all space. And Chris Gala, I don't know if you know him, he does Horizon Squares, and he now does Anything Goes, and he has a number of nightclubs and entertainment spots. That's what he does in real life throughout Horizon. And he's built me this chamber spot, and we keep talking about it. Ideally, I just want people to be able to fly up to the planets and put your businesses up there, right? So I'm trying to think outside of the box for XR. What he did, though, for us was he built a roller coaster right now at the roof of this chamber, and it goes all the way up through space and visits all the planets where I will see businesses, hopefully, in the near future. And you'll just be able to teleport up there. You'll be able to get all kinds of ways. It's just about using the tech, and I really try to make this chamber in XR feel as though you're not necessarily walking through just a regular chamber room. I mean, I know people have different views, so we're mixing it up. There's some stages and seating and things like that, and some offices, but I'm trying to mix up the tech and the immersive experience. So any ideas are welcome, and any criticisms or help or anything you have, I'm more than happy to listen to all the time. If we can go to the next slide. This is my personal immersive experience that I created. As I said in the beginning, when I wandered around Multiverse, when we all did, the only way to get around was kind of walk around and take note of where you were. They didn't even have navigation maps yet or anything like that. So I was noticing a lot of Wonderland streets, Wonderland Plaza, Wonderland Street, Wonderland Circle, Wonderland Manorway. They're just all these different Wonderland streets. And I just started buying apartments on all of them. And my name is Alison, and growing up, people always thought it was Alice in Wonderland, so they would say that to me. But we all know it's Alice. But I decided here I was going to lean into it, and I was going to start creating a Wonderland experience for my own private, personal project in here. And so this link will take you to My Wonderland stores. I believe it is the one in some place called Topsy-Turvy, which is a village created by Multiverse. When they saw I was doing this Wonderland piece, they literally created a Wonderland village for me, which is very cool. It's got all of these parks that have different accessories in them that you would find in the books, Through the Looking Glass and the Alice in Wonderland story. And I've created stores and different things in this village that will reflect what we can do later. To me, it's all just the beginning. Bring 3D objects into Multiverse yet, like I have done in Spatial as an experiment using Blender or whichever. But hopefully, I've bought a lot of land village, this Topsy-Turvy village that I foresee will hopefully have some sort of a theme park in it. Complete kiosks and things that other people can bring in. And in the chambers, we really try to tell people to bring their businesses together. Just because you have one storefront doesn't mean you can't feature other businesses that you might want a partnership with. And that goes anywhere. That's part of being a chamber of commerce, is we really want people to collaborate. That's another reason we chose this park, because this is one of the things you can look around, and it's kind of a city where business and commerce is done. But out here in the park, Paige and Karen and I were talking about it would be great if we had kiosks here. Paige was saying food trucks, and and things like that. You can just click and do real world food delivery from the food truck, and it will really come to you in real life. In Multiverse, you can put browser URLs, and I know one of the users, Beck, has put in all the different food delivery services in there that you can do while you're in your headset, just to show the future availability of these kinds of things. And hopefully it'll be just as easy as pressing buttons and walk to the park and you see a pair you like, or you see food that you want, or you see something and it really gets delivered to you. And you can walk with people from other parts of the world and show them what you're getting, and this is how you promote commerce, and this is how you promote the of XR. And that's where I'm personally hoping that we end up going. Again, this is a deep link that'll just take you to one of my Wonderland spaces. The next slide, please. So just to show you, these are, when I said I put some storefronts in the village, I'm doing it with Sherry Holmes, who runs Women's World. I believe she's here. We do women. She created Women's World, which is in Horizon and a little bit in Spatial, I believe, and in Multiverse, and they're pretty big areas, and they have lots of women that come in and participate, and it's about them also putting businesses together. She's created a retreat. We're on the 4th year of the Women's World Retreat, which takes place across several apps, where women can, and men, everybody is welcome to present, and sometimes they'll charge for the retreat. They'll do a workshop, and we use Shopify or use some sort of an outside payment system in order to attend these events. And there's Ashley, who is part of the group. She creates this great, she created this great website for it with Sherry, and created a great catalog book, and you can see all about it. But like I said, we're on our 4th year. If anybody's interested in facilitating or interested in being part of it, it opens with a keynote, closes with an after party, and workshops for 2 days. Please find Sherry or find me, and I'll find Sherry or Ashley or even Tink, who was here last year. She's very much a part of it. And it's just a couple of days around November. And the main thing I want to show you is that, just to let you all know, all the images you see, I'm not a graphic designer. This is all ChatGPT. But I always come back to ChatGPT, and all of the images that I create, and it's there. I'm really excited about it. I didn't do any of the text, and you can see all the text is spelled correctly, which is my favorite thing. I'm able to use the images directly out of the program, and I don't have to tweak a lot. Sometimes there's a double L or something like that, but mostly it really does understand what it is I'm trying to create, and it all has a similar feel because I'm trying to create it in a place that I want it to kind of, to all be similar. So all of this is done with ChatGPT. Next slide, please. So this is a new feature of Multiverse. They're AI agents, and I know Julie's very much into this. What it is if you own certain levels, they gave me one for the chamber. They're testing it now over at Multiverse, and I'm hoping that these are tests for other apps. And what they are these robots, because in Multiverse you're still a bot. They're not human-looking avatars, they're bots. But they have different personalities. If they install it on your metaverse, you can choose which bots you want to show up, and then you feed in the prompts that they'll tell you what they like. The prompts have to do with explain this. That's the prompt. And then you explain what your business is. And then they recommend that you tell people, you prompt them to give, to like on your wristwatch, because that's how you like the room or the metaverse or the gallery or store that you're in. You just hit your wristwatch, and it's great to remind people to look at their watch. And we were saying at another meeting that everybody's got a watch in all of the apps. So that's become kind of a way for all of us to use the same kind of functionality in each of these apps. And you just tell them what it is that you want your bot to say with their personalities that you assign from the list. So what I did is I worked with one of the devs, how he recommended I set up and what it should look like. And when I got the prompts to work really well and dumped them into my chamber homepage, connected to Multiverse, the bot started saying exactly what I wanted. And then I took it all, because I created it in ChatGPT. I told it what I wanted, and it created these perfect prompts for me, and I was really happy about that. And then I had the GPT out of it. So now, as you can see, this AI agent, how can we help? if you use this and you go into and on it, it takes you to the GPT I created and will ask you a series of questions that will help you create prompts for your metaverse space for these particular AI agents that work in multiverse. I'm hoping it will be available as more agents come out. I can sort of and change it for whatever anybody needs, or what we need for each of the apps as they start bringing them in. So again, this will bring you to the AI agent prompt, the GPT that'll run them and spit out. It spits out 3 at a time, and you can always ask it for more. Tweak it. It's just a way to kind of make things easy. How the agents are working. I've got some videos on my YouTube and I've got some videos on my LinkedIn profile. If you want them in action, or go to Multiverse. The way you activate them is they introduced paper clips, and they're actual paper clips. Someone mentioned that word perfect or the word Clippy, to use for help, but they live in your inventory when you collect them. There are just city where you put them for $1 or so, get 10 or whatever. They go and then the agents will pop up, and they do between 45 and a minute sell, and it's so every time I go in I get excited because it really says what the chamber is the way I'd like it presented if I wasn't there. It gives you a found on the chamber and what we're representing, what we're hoping you're going to do. Then it's also set in prompts for each of our members or in each of the exhibit rooms you happen to be in. So as it cycles through, maybe what the chamber is about, another paper clip you'll pull out, and that one will talk about this business and how you can go through one of the doors and visit them. And as you go through another multiverse door, sometimes you go through a Horizon door. I was saying Bernice Lohman, who had been here, I'm not sure if she's here anymore, hers goes to her website on her door. So whatever, you don't have to be in a particular app in order to get something out of the chamber, because we send your links anywhere you like. And that works really, really well, especially in multiverse, because it offers a lot of different ways. Browsers as well, and I have some browsers around for people's websites in my spatial room and other apps. And as this goes along, more and more apps I hope will just offer a lot of different ways to bring things in. So that's how these agents work. And as they go along, I'm going to keep updating LinkedIn and Facebook and talk about what it is that what they're doing as they build on it. It's an outside company that's contracted with Multiverse, and it's actually pretty cool. Next slide. Am I okay on time?
Yeah,
this is a project in my organizing attempts. As I keep saying, money goes one way in the Quest headset. And you can, you can peer-to-peer transact using coins. The money does not come back out of the headset. And the slide. Another thing that I did. Now, when I came in, I had no idea what I was going to do, or where I was going to go, or what this was going to. So over the last 3-4 years, I've come up with a lot of different ideas. And along the way, I'm old enough to remember when the internet started. That's how old I am. So it was 1995. Totally remember it. And it was very hard to get people to use the internet. I always come up with articles. When I lived in New York, I was in the media a lot. I was on CNN, was the first place I ever went on TV. I was in the New York Times. I was featured on the cover of Newsday, because with the internet, I was always around with my computer. Newsday actually did a cover story about me because I was out at the beach all the time. I'm in Florida now, always at the beach, but in New York, I'd run to the beach when it was time. And I had one of the first compact portable computers, which was pretty big and pretty heavy, but it still was as much as portable as you could get. And they took a picture of me for the cover of Newsday of me dragging this computer around Fire Island on a wagon, where I was visiting people to show them the internet, and where people were coming to me at my house to look at the internet. And it would really sell, believe it or not. The internet was a business part of that summer, because we need your clients, everybody selling products, other things. This is not something that's sustainable. The internet is here. and I do tech, get our clients on the internet and start offering that. And literally she said to me, it's a fad, it's not going to last. If you want to go the way of the web, then we need to break up the partnership. It's not going to last. And I said, okay. And I broke up the partnership and I went my way. And I brought all our clients onto it. But, you know, and I used to do this before Google and Yahoo. I was creating directories. And then the minute I saw the search engines come in, I switched over from listing people in a directory to selling them ways to be featured in sponsorships and things like that. So you just kind of move along with it. But as I said, it was a really hard sell. And that's exactly what these headsets feel like. They're very hard to people who don't quite understand what they are. And I think our messaging is very important. First of all, I'm very much about correcting people when they say it's a game for kids. You know, I go online and it's the holidays and it's the birthdays and it's whatever it is, and what parents will do or adults do, I bought my kid a MetaQuest headset, can you tell me what games I should get them? And the first thing I want to write is, first of all, get the games for you and get another headset, because it's not a game. Every time I say game, just primarily, right? Because we have to gamify in here, which is something else that I think I have a slide about. But if we talk about it as though it's a real business proposition or a real immersive experience or a real way to meet people, and that it's not only a game system for kids, and it happens to have games, but mostly we all know what it is. I'm just saying that when we talk about it, I am not above constantly correcting the messaging out there that comes to me from people I try to talk into coming in here. I do a lot to straighten that out and say, you're going to miss the boat if you don't at least come in and check it out. And a really great way to get people in is using Horizon Workrooms, because they let you video in and zoom in. And I've brought people that way who couldn't even believe that they were talking to my avatar, thinking that it's me, and then you forget you're talking to an avatar and they're on the screen, because they think that it's just cartoons talking to each other, and we know that it isn't. And out there they think that it is. To show you how simple it is, that's the hard sell that I feel now, is I found an old article that I was in where I was just saying it's impossible to get people to get an email. They don't want to give up their phones and their answering machines, if you remember that far back. There's literally articles about trying to get people to get an email versus using the telephone or sending smoke signals, right? Just the way we used to communicate was just as hard back then as it is now to get people to change. Change is very, very difficult. And we all just have to be patient, but keep talking about it the way we want it to be represented. It's just really, really important. And don't be afraid of the pushback, because there's always going to be pushback. And we've done this before, is my point. And we're trying to do it again now with what I think is a very much more advanced group of people trying to do it, because we have more channels. You know, just using LinkedIn and social media and YouTube and all of that, we didn't have that with the internet. I would go in person to meetings. I go to library meetings, librarians, because they were very important to the advent of the internet. I would go to schools. I became an adjunct professor at New York Tech because I could come in and talk about the internet, so it didn't scare everybody. We did a safety on the net day where we told parents it's not something to be afraid of. A, you should let your kids use it, but you should monitor them. And B, they are going to get on anyway because they're better at this than we are. So at least understand it and don't be afraid of it. And that, you know, and we don't really have to be afraid of this. It's not quite the same thing. And Meta's got some pretty good guardrails regarding abuse and things like that, which I was happy to see. But, you know, I'm running up against some of the same guardrails and barriers. And we all are. I know everybody in this room has experienced everything. I'm not here to tell you things that, you know, that you haven't seen. So anyway, so I wrote these books about ebooks. They're very short, 18, 19 pages, 20 pages, for people that are not in here. And I approached it, as I said, when I would talk to businesses about why they needed a website. I'm now talking in the ebooks about why you should think about an immersive XR display for your business. And then there's a couple other books about how you can make money in here, never mind just having a representation. Because we used to say the web was a brochure for your business. This is so much more, but people don't always know what that means. And I approach training where I say I'm going to throw a lot of information at you and I'm going to talk about a lot of things. to remember what I'm saying. The point is later when you start seeing it more mainstream and people start talking about it, you're going to remember that we talked about this. You don't have, if I tested you tomorrow, you don't have to remember everything I said or the terms I used, but when you see them being written about or people approaching you, you're going to remember that you know what this is, and your brain will start thinking of ways to use on your business or use on your ideas or your creative immersive experiences that you didn't even realize you could do, because you're going to remember it because you read about it. And that's really what these books are for. They're for people who just want to know what this is, and and just for them to kind of breeze through it and see what's coming. So the next,
Alison, I want to just break in here. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I apologize for the appearance of this slide. That Alison slide was perfect. I think maybe it's because we're using the curved stream here, so I apologize for that.
Do you have the next slide, Karen? Because I can't.
Yes.
Is it not working?
Yes.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Gamification. That is something I also mentioned. Although I say that this is not a game, we absolutely do have to bring in gamification into every single project we're working on, and this is real business gamification. I took a course at MIT about gamification, and it's really just a way to keep people interested, right? And I'm not saying it to explain to everybody what they should do to gamify, although I'm more than happy to, but it's just to not think of it as a game. But one of the most surprising things to me, which is why I put the 7 personalities, is that in order to put a game in, there's a lot of people that don't play a game for what they're going to win at the end. They're not doing it for a prize or a reward. So many people want gamification elements just to make it interesting because they like the challenge, just getting from question A to question B or getting something right or learning something new is enough. And that in and of itself is gamification. In my Wonderland stores, because I'm really limited on what I can do, and it's you're running Web 2 elements in a Web 3 environment. What I did was I found a quiz app and a website that does quizzes, and once I gave it a subject, I was writing questions on my own, but then it has an AI and it just did a much better job than me. So I made quizzes to one of the storefronts is, which Wonderland character are you? Alice, are you the queen, are you the rabbit? It's just questions finding out what your personality is. It's just fun to do. And I pulled out other browsers that tell you a list. So in order to figure out there's a list of on categories that ask you, Alice, what's it with Amazon? And you can click the browser and characters that you were named in the quiz and click on a list of an Amazon list products might be interested in. And like I said, applications, but it's just interesting to do. I have another one which is Escape Wonderland, and I made an escape quiz. And you can go in there and you can just kind of play a game. Again, you're playing Web 2 games in the Web 3 environment, but I'm hoping it keeps people engaged. And they don't necessarily, I would like to be able to reward them, which is another thing that we're limited on. I can't just hand people prizes if they win, but I'm hoping to find ways to be able to reward people. But again, looking at different 7 personalities, you can see not everybody even expects. They just want to advance to another level, or they just want to come back because they think something has changed. It's something, Roblox has this science. That's why apps like that have come into the Quest headset, they do have these games down, the gamification. And that's what we should look at. But, you have a lot of large companies building in there, and I certainly don't have the budget to afford something like that. So I'm trying to find new ways that are not too cost prohibitive and will allow the gamification to kind of work its way into the experiences. I think there's 1 or 2 more slides.
Alison, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay.
Now I can.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just wanted to say that we are over the official time for the event, and we're only going to be able to keep this open for another 8 minutes. And I know that there is something that we were going to share at the end, and hope it works. But I'll go on to the next slide. But I just wanted to let you know that we're coming up on our time. So,
okay, I think that there's only one more slide. Yeah, this is the last slide, and Julie covered it. It's everything you do
Yes,
just remember
absolutely.
that we all need to get along in here. We all need to trust each other. And that's about it, I think.
Didn't plan this at all. It's total alignment.
I was awesome when you started talking about it. I think that's all I want. I think I want to thank you or something. So if you have questions, we are going to experiment with the portal.
Yeah. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. That was informative presentation. In the ecosystem and the way of developing interoperability and sort of the state of that between various platforms. Also, even on designer spaces, you're talking about nature function well with no there. And so that's a few of the incredibly informative and educational and legal presentation and bring us to doing. I'm going to load a portal that will go to the multiverse. We will work. It's going to be over the sort of behind where the Metaverse Chamber is, and you should be when it comes up.
Yep.
So I'm going to load it.
There's a couple of things.
There
You
we
go.
go.
You don't have the multiverse app. You first take